Okay. So one of them was involved in sins, and the other one was active in worship. فكان لا يزال المجتهد يرى الآخر على الذنب فيقول له أقصر. And because they were good friends, when the one who was righteous and worshiping God, when he would see the other person sinning, he would tell him, you should stop. Which is good. That's what we should do, by the way. If you have a brother, if you have a friend, and you guys are close, and you see him involved in a particular sin, you should advise him. You should tell him, you should stop. And don't be shy. Don't say, well, it's his business. You should, because you are close, because you care for them, you should tell them, this is not good for you. And, it's not, Allah does not like that, or something like that. But you have to be nice, as we're going to see. You have to be careful how you say it. So every time he would see him, he would say, please stop. This is not good. This is not good for you. فوجده يوما على ذنب فقال له أقصر. And one day he found him sinning. Again, it doesn't tell us what kind of sin. And he told him, you should stop. فقال خلني وربي أبعثت علي رقيبا. So obviously that sinner got sick and tired of the worshipper, and he said, leave me alone. Leave me alone. It's between me and God. Just, take it easy. And then he said, أبعثت علي رقيبا. Were you sent as a judge upon me? I mean, Raqib is like an observer or a judge. And I want you to remember this well, because this is really the idea of the topic tonight. He said, were you sent as a judge to me? This is why whenever you give an advice, you should not look like a judge. You're not judging them. You're more like an advisor. You are just reminding them. You're not judging them. Some people, when they do it wrong. Immediately they go to the person, you're going to hell, you're doomed. Allah will, and we're going to see exactly what happened here. And that shows you exactly the mentality of this person. So, so this man got a bit upset and said, leave me alone, all of that. Look what the pious man said. And that's what's important here. The pious man got upset even more. And he said, Wallahi la yaghfirullahu lak. I swear by God, Allah will never, or God will never forgive you. So number one, he swore, like he's so certain of himself. And this is the absolute mentality you see in some people. He said, I swear by Allah, Allah will never forgive you. Allah will never allow you to go into Jannah. And that's really bad. I mean, what this man said. So the story says, then after, we don't know how long, after a while, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took away their souls, meaning they died. They both died. فاجتمع عند رب العالمين. So they were, summoned in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They were resurrected and they were summoned in front of God. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started talking to the worshipper first. Not the sinner, the worshipper. He told him, أَكُنْتَ بِي عَالِمًا. Did you have any knowledge of me? Like you were speaking on my behalf. You were swearing by me that I will not forgive him. Like who gave you that authority? So he told him, do you have any knowledge of me? أَوَ كُنْتَ عَلَى مَا فِي يَدِي قَادِرًا. Or maybe you had some control over what I have. Like it seems like you have control over Jannah and Jahannam, and you're sending people to Jannah and you're sending people to hell. So he's asking him, do you have any control over what I possess? أَوَ كُنْتَ عَلَى مَا فِي يَدَيَّ قَادِرًا. And then he told the sinner, اذهب فادخل الجنة برحمتي. Go enter Jannah by my mercy. Because obviously he's a sinner, so he's not entering Jannah by his action. but he's entering Jannah by the mercy of Allah. And that can happen, especially if the sins are not major. And this is really the thing we have to get here. Like, a lot of people think that the matter of Islam and Jannah and Jahannam is very technical. I mean, it's like mathematics. You know, I do this, this, and this, I go to Jannah. I do this, that, and that, I go to Jahannam. Or especially when you apply it to others, you think it's like that. And Islam is not like that. There are many, many factors. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might look at your state in this life. You may not have been very religious, but you were tested by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time. Since you were born, you were afflicted by one problem after the other, by sickness, by poverty, and Allah will take all of that into consideration. You do not know that, Allah knows. Allah knows your condition since you were born. So that'll be taken into consideration. Another part is, well, you might look like you're doing good actions, but maybe your heart is full of pride. Maybe you're arrogant, and that takes away, if not all of your good actions. Or maybe the sinner, he was sinning, she was sinning, but they had a really good heart and they wanted to quit, but they couldn't, and it was a struggle. We don't know that. So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was telling him, did you have any knowledge of me? I am the judge. I know everything. I know what everybody had to go through. All the struggles, all the challenges, and all of that. So he told the sinner, you go to Jannah by my mercy. And the other one, he was taken to the hellfire. Now, here it doesn't mean that he was punished forever. No, it seems that he would be punished for that sin that he did, because that is a sin. The fact that he took the position of God is a sin. And that's really the purpose of this narration or this story. We're not necessarily saying or condemning this man to hellfire forever. It's just telling us that it is definitely a sin. And here, the Prophet wanted to make a point and show us that is so. So I hope this is clear. Is it clear? Story and... there is another narration. It's very similar. I'll just mention it in passing because there's another benefit there. And the second narration, narrated by a different companion, but the same story, it says, Wallahi la yaghfirullahu li fulan. I swear, it's the same statement. I swear by Allah, Allah will not forgive so and so. And Allah replied immediately and he said, Man dha alladhi yata'alla alayya alla aghfira li fulan. This is why I'm repeating, because of this statement. Look what Allah said in reply. He said, who is he who's telling me what to do? So that's another problem. If you go and say to somebody, Allah will not forgive you, look what Allah said in response. It's like you're telling Allah what to do. Like, Allah does not know what to do, and you go in and telling Allah that He should forgive this person or not forgive another person. So that's where the problem is. This is where the sin is. That now you're telling Allah what to do. And because of that, He said, you telling me what to do, I'm going to forgive him and I'm going to destroy your action. So this is narrated in Sahih Muslim. So we see it is an authentic narration. All right, great. So this is the story that I want to base my talk on, and I think we can come up with many examples in our daily lives of things that could be of that sort. Last week there was an incident. Somebody brought some food by mistake. It had some ingredient. It had gelatin in it, and some people took it a little bit overboard. I'm not mentioning names, of course, and I'm only mentioning the story so we learn. But automatically there were some people saying, well, you brought something haram to the masjid. We know very well it was not his intent, number one. Number two, you don't know for sure it is haram, because first of all, we have to see where does that come from, the gelatin. Does it come from, if it comes from pork, yes. If it comes from beef, there's a difference of opinion. You cannot just come and say it is definitely haram. Whenever there's a difference of opinion, we have to be careful. You're free to take the opinion you like, or the opinion that your parents, your family, your sheikh adopts. That's totally fine. But to come and say with definite, like in a definite way that this is haram, this is not appropriate. We have great scholars like Imam Shafi'i and others. When there was a new matter, because we have to differentiate between something that is clear in the Quran. If somebody is stealing or killing, we can tell them you are doing haram. There's no difference of opinion. But matters that scholars differed on, you cannot come and say this is definitely 100% haram. You could say, I believe it is haram and this is the opinion I follow, and that's good enough. So Imam Shafi'i, if something was not clear to him and he's making his own ijtihad, like his own opinion, he would say, I don't like it. He don't even say it's haram. He would say, I don't like it. And people would understand that that's what he means, that he thinks it is not allowed. But he was very careful because we're speaking on behalf of God. Especially scholars, they're speaking on behalf of Allah. When you say something is haram, you are speaking on behalf of Allah. Because haram is not something, you could see. Haram means you will be punished if you do it. So it's a grave matter. And I see a lot of people, even kids, sometimes, they throw this word around so much as if it's not a big deal. You can advise somebody, you can tell them, I think this particular thing is not allowed, just be careful. But to come and condemn somebody, we have some people, sometimes they come to the masjid, they don't know much about Islam, maybe a woman does not cover her head, and we have all these missiles shot at her. You have to be careful. You can come nicely and give an advice, but again, to condemn people like that, because what's going to happen, they're going to leave and they may never come back. And imagine if somebody stops prayer because of you, because you are not very wise when you spoke, because you were rude. And Islam does not teach us to be rude. In fact, the Prophet ﷺ, when he sent two of his major companions to Yemen, Yemen were not Muslim at the time, the people of Yemen were not Muslim, he sent two companions, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari and Mu'adh bin Jabal, I think, these two people. Yeah. And one of the things he told them, يَسِّرَ وَلَا تُعَسِّرَ بَشِّرَ وَلَا تُنَفِّرَ. He told them, make it easy on people and do not make it hard. And he told them, give good news to people and do not drive people away from you. So we have to look at ourselves and also look at the people around you and see how are we coming off. Do you come off as a nice, easy-going, approachable person, or you're this monster? We call them now haram police, and we have different names, right? So this was what the Prophet told his companions. It's not about hiding any message. You could still say it. You could say it nicely, and you also put those disclaimers. Like, I think it is haram. Instead of saying, it's haram 100%. I believe, my opinion, or the opinion I take. These are all totally valid things to say. Because you have no idea. You did not do the research, you did not go and study. So you have to be a bit humble and, mention all of that. And don't be so absolute in your statements. Now, if we are to analyze the story a little bit, why do you think this man, and we see a lot, we see those examples around us. Why do you think this man thought that he had the authority to speak like that on behalf of God? Well, actually, I was going to...
Is that a rhetorical question?
It's kind of a rhetorical. Sorry, guys. You can put your hands down. We'll ask more questions, or we'll let you ask questions later. Well, it seems that some people, when they worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they worship, they think now that they have a very special position with God. to a point that anything they say, Allah will listen. So this relationship, which should be like I'm the servant and He's the master, now in a way it kind of turns around. Like I tell Allah what to do and He listens to me. It's a bit, narcissistic in a way, right? To think that you've gotten so much power now that you can tell Allah what to do. But this is a process that you've been obeying God for too long and you think, I've done so much, I've sacrificed so much, and now I deserve that God listens to me, that whatever I say He would do. So that's a bit of that, of what's going on here. Okay, so now let us think of some statements that people might say that would imply this kind of mindset. So we talked about this mindset, but what are some common statements or things that people do that might imply that we have to be careful of? So we know one is Allah will not forgive you. So if you go to somebody and say Allah will not forgive you, that's obviously a problem. What about if you went to somebody and told him you're going to Jannah? Is that okay?
No.
What's the problem? I mean, you're not saying anything bad. You're not condemning him to the hellfire.
It's not as bad though.
It's not as bad. Okay, hold on. Equal. Quick.
I know.
Okay, it's okay.
Cannot assume Allah's plan.
You cannot assume Allah's plan. You cannot know what's in Allah's mind. You don't know. You have no knowledge of that. So what if somebody came and said, but the Prophet told Abu Bakr you're going to be in Jannah. He told Umar you're going to be in Jannah. How do you respond to that?
He's not God.
Obviously, yes, he's not.
So it's not possible. Like, didn't he get like a revelation?
Exactly. The reason the Prophet could say it, and only the Prophet, not even the companions after the Prophet, only the Prophet could do it because he receives revelation from God. So he did not say it from his own mind. So when he told Abu Bakr, you're going to be in Jannah, or told Uthman, you're going to be in Jannah, or Ali, or any of them, it's because Allah told him. He was not speaking from his own. And that's a very fine point we have to be careful about. What if somebody said, Allah sent you to me? So like, there's maybe some special occasion or something that I want to make a point, for example. And I say, God sent you to me.
Hit him with that.
Huh? Yes.
And so let's say, he like me, he's like, let's say there's just regular, and this.
Are you answering the question or are you telling me a story?
Answering.
Okay, quick.
I'm not talking about this quote, but let's say there's this man, and he has problems, and then he has he had a really rough day, and let's say he has an appointment, but the thing keeps on rescheduling, and
Can you postpone this question? That doesn't seem to be done.
Answering it. He means,
Can you postpone the answer?
Someone comes to him or her and helps them out. He's like if they say Allah came.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're saying that if somebody came to help you or help me, and you could say that Allah sent, this is Allah's gift to you or to me, or that He sent you. Okay, I can see. That's a good point, by the way. It's a good observation. No, but it's a good. Go ahead.
I mean, it's not too far-fetched because Allah sets up everything that happens on this planet.
Yes.
So we probably had two people meet on purpose. It's not too far-fetched, but it's also assuming it's what his intentions were, kind of. So it's also some.
So we have to be careful here. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in charge of everything. So we're not talking about that. But to say that this happened for this particular reason, and that's what Allah intended, that's where the problem is. Because we cannot read Allah's mind. right? If you say, he sent you to me to teach you this, or he sent him to you to teach you such and such, then there's a problem because we don't know. Like, how do you know that Allah sent him for that reason? Does that make sense?
Are we talking about this like a prophet level? Like a prophet went to like a people, and one of the people like you were sent for me. Is that what we're talking about?
No, not the prophet, not that kind of sending. No.
Bro,
I'll bring more examples. Maybe this is not a very good example. You had something? No. Okay, we're good. What about, some people say, if the Prophet was alive, then he would have done such and such. What do you think about that? Is that okay? Like if the Prophet was alive, he would have voted for the people who want to push voting. Or the opposite, who say voting is haram, they would say if the Prophet was alive, he would have forbidden voting. I'm talking about both. I don't care about the actual opinion. What do you think about that?
what?
I think it's fine to an extent, as long as because we could look at Muhammad's past actions and gauge what he would have probably done, as long as it doesn't interfere with the everyday, the main pillars of Islam.
Okay, so the answer is, as long as it doesn't interfere with the main pillars of Islam, we can kind of guess, right? We can't be sure though. Omar?
I think you can't really do that because whatever the Prophet wanted to forbid or not forbid, he did it.
Already,
Yeah.
right? And this is a new matter, right? It's not like something that was at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. And what if somebody says, well, we're not preventing somebody from coming with an opinion, and he would say, I think this is because of these reasons. There's nothing wrong with that. But to put this emotional, thing forward, to say, if the Prophet was alive, he would have done such and such. Now you want to give it this emotional boost. So you're using the Prophet to do that, alayhi salatu wasalam. That's where the problem. You could have just said, I think voting is important, or haram, or halal, whatever, or it's recommended or not recommended, and you bring your reasons. That's totally fine. But to bring the Prophet into it is the problem. Because we don't know. We have no idea how the Prophet would have acted. Or some people might say, if the Prophet was alive, he would have worn a suit and a tie. Or other people would say, no, he would have worn a turban. And again, I'm not picking opinions here, but they bring the Prophet into this, basically this difference of opinion, this disagreement, and they put the Prophet in the middle of it, and that's not appropriate. Man, you couldn't resist.
It's like a minor addition, but
Yes.
if the Prophet ﷺ was alive, wouldn't most of humanity be Muslim, or most of the world? Because wasn't he sent to all people, mankind?
He would be sent to all mankind. Whether all mankind or most of them will be Muslim, we don't
Or it's
know.
under Muslim rule, so it'd be a completely different scenario. You can't even compare.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay. Again, this is a big hypothetical. Obviously, the Prophet would not come back. We know that for sure.
So we know he probably wouldn't do it because
For other reasons, like you said. Yeah. Good. All right, good. In summary, we should refrain from saying that Allah will do this or Allah will not do that. We cannot know what Allah wants. We don't know what He intends. All of that is from the unseen, and we should refrain from all of it. Just that is the summary. Sometimes it is even worse when we judge people's intentions, because how do you read somebody's mind? How do you read somebody's intention? So that's even worse. Now, can you think of some examples yourselves that is similar to the examples I give, where somebody is either speaking on Allah's behalf or acting on God's behalf, or judging some people and assuming that divine judge or judgment? Can you think of some other examples that you've seen yourself in your life?
would it be like telling somebody I know there's a certain story of a Sahaba, or a person was wounded and he was asking about making wudu. So would it be giving a fitna?
Yeah, you guys know what he's talking about? Who does not know? Raise your hand. Don't be ashamed or shy. Okay, so this is a story, and that's actually important. I think it is related to the topic here, and the topic of speaking about Allah without knowledge, or speaking about His religion without knowledge. So these people were traveling. They were on a trip. These people were on a trip, and one of them got injured. Okay, and then he had to make ghusl. It was required that he takes a shower. And he asked his companions, do I have any concession? Do I have to do it? Or can I do something else? And the companion, the leader of that, caravan told him, no, you have to take a shower. This is the sunnah of the Prophet. This is required. You cannot pray without taking a shower, yada yada. So the man obliged, and he took the shower. And he died because of that. Now you say what? Were you listening? So he was injured again. It was very cold, and he took a shower. And as a result, I think maybe an infection of some sort happened, and then he died as a result. So when the news came back to the Prophet ﷺ, he was so upset, and he said they killed him. Because they were the reason, right? I mean, they did not directly kill him, but the bad advice killed him. Okay? So, and he said, shouldn't they have asked? I mean, they should have asked before they gave that opinion, because that opinion is not based on any knowledge. And he said, the cure of ignorance is to ask. Anytime you don't know, don't just give a fatwa from your own. Don't just give a fatwa from your mind. You have to ask somebody who knows. You have to ask the people of knowledge. You've been raising your hand for the last 15 minutes. What do you want?
I know who's like copying the problem from.
Say again. Sorry guys, I cannot hear him because you all are talking.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
I know who's he's real, but he's not here now. It's mentioned in the Quran. He's gonna come and he's gonna pretend he's gonna keep on he's saying he's the prophet. His name's Dajjal.
Dajjal. Okay. What about Dajjal though?
Yeah, he's copying the prophet and saying everything. He's telling everybody.
I know, but why are you bringing this up?
He's tricking people into doing what he does.
Okay.
Something
Can somebody explain to me?
I think he's trying to use it as a story, I guess, about what you mentioned. Are there any encounters that you've had, or any stories that you know of what?
But I'm asking for personal encounters.
Oh.
Yeah, not.
Okay.
Calm down.
Are we gonna leave yet?
You can leave anytime. By the way, guys, I don't hold anybody at any time. You can leave any minute you like.
Literally, okay.
You don't have to be here. I mean, I've made this clear many times. This is totally voluntary, optional halaqa. Okay, so any other examples you know from your personal life? I guess not.
Oh, the case of one person. It's pretty generic, being more